When you were a computer programmer, were you...
Well, I was actually a computer operator.
You weren't... Then you didn't put programs into the computer, or did you do that?
No, I was just a button pusher and a card.
The reason I ask is, I don't know...
Oh, very good. You want to see a few cards?
No. Have you got cards?
No.
The company sent me one of these home computers to fiddle around with, where you put programs in it, how to balance your checkbook and how to do all this.
I can't even work a calculator.
Yeah,
I mean,
well...
You can actually train a chimpanzee to work a computer. It's really an overblown job. I mean, I know it's very complex in the programming side, and that's why I gave it up. It just happened to coincide with getting a record contract. They were trying to... This thing of being a computer programmer is just nonsense. I did it for about 20 minutes. And it interfered with the fact that while I was actually being paid for working a computer and writing songs at the same time, when I had to actually think to do programming, then it interfered with me reading magazines. And
was it frustrating for you when you were working in that job with computers and writing songs and playing your guitar as an avocation?
Oh, yeah.
What were the frustrations that you had saying, you know, I've got some talent, I've got something to offer, why am I sitting here on this keyboard?
I mean, it's exactly the same thing. It's all very well for me to sit here and be smug about it, because I've got a record contract now and I can put out records, and if I don't, then I suppose they send the boys around or something. I don't know what happens. But yeah, sure it was. I mean, I was turned down by every record company in England, including the company that I'm signed with in America and the company I'm signed with in England.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was obviously I just didn't present myself. Probably due to the fact that I'm a big fan of the, you know, those old films where they go in and say, "Have I got a song for you?" And I actually tried that. I genuinely believed you could do that and go around. And I used to make these embarrassing executives sit down, and I get a guitar and say, "Well, what do you think of this song actually?" and play it to them. And you know, they were used to getting demo tapes, and then they could put these polite slips in the mail, and most of them, you know, they were signed by a secretary. They probably never even listened. They have people that listen to them. And you know, I did actually force a few people to be bored for 20 minutes in between taking phone calls, and it's particularly embarrassing when you're in the middle of a song and you really think you're convincing the guy, and suddenly the phone goes and he goes, "Oh, yes, darling, yes, I'll be home about 8, and no, lamb casserole would be great, you know, catch you later, man." What can you do, you know? And it's... I know, you know, there's still lots of people that are doing that, so they're not going to find it funny. The people that watching this that are in that same situation are not going to find it funny. And people come up and ask me whether, you know, have you got any tips? And there ain't any. You just keep knocking on the door until they answer, you know.
Does that happen to you? Young people would write you letters and say, "Hey, I want to do this."
I get people coming up and so giving me tapes and stuff, and seeing whether I can do something, you know. And there isn't really anything I can do. I don't have any more clout with the record company, you know. I mean, they think I'm one brick short of a load, you know. I'm sure what I say, you know, it doesn't really carry much weight with people because they're businessmen, and you know, they've got to discover it for themselves.
Curiously, the ambitious young people who want to enter the industry, whether it be yours or mine, think that people who do it as we do have got jobs to offer or have some clout with the management that we can simply make a call and say, "Hey, I met someone in the street today, I ought to hire him." I don't have that. You don't have that. We don't have jobs to offer people. In fact, we have enough trouble keeping these two going. Huh?
Well, I don't, actually.
I will check with you in 22 years and see how it's going, you know what I mean? Who are your heroes? Do you have songwriters that are heroes to you?
Not heroes. That's a really... I remember when they did a program, I can't remember what station it was on, called Heroes of Rock and Roll. I mean, that's a contradiction in terms as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've got a lot of people I admire, some current people, and probably some people, well, that, you know, you might not expect. I admire people like Cole Porter and Lorenz Hart as lyricists, and I really like Hank Williams.
Didn't you put a Gershwin song on one of your albums?
No, Rodgers and Hart.
Rodgers and Hart song on one of your albums? That's a little bit unusual, a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it was a song that I think I liked that song before I could walk, you know, so I think I could work a record player before I could walk. Yeah. Now I can barely do both at the same time.
Not if you chew gum, yeah? What about your dad, jazz musician?
Yeah, originally, and then he was a band singer, and he's still a professional musician. He plays more dates a year than I do. He works very hard. He drives up and down, drives himself around England, plays clubs and, you know, social clubs and nightclubs and so forth, and football supporters, soccer supporters clubs and things like that, and he works incredibly hard.
Do you love him?
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever go see him?
Yeah, I used to play with him sometimes,
Really?
you know, but I could never get in tune, you know.
I hope he's proud of you.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think he is. Well, if he hasn't told me if he hasn't.
Okay. No, I'm glad that you go see your pop and that you realize that he works very, very, very hard.
Yeah.
And it's good. The number you're going to do
He was
for
actually discouraging me to get into this business.
Yeah. This number, Watch Your Step, that you're going to do for us after. Is this a warning?
Well, I'll leave that up to you.
All right. This was very comfortable for me. Thank you very much. I didn't expect it to be, and it was.
Don, I just want you to do it, because people say to me, if you're him, do the funny legs, because of the picture on the first row. You've got to do the funny eyebrows, you know. So. And the James Stewart impression.
We'll be right back with Elvis Costello after these announcements. So stay with us. All right. No, not.